Hello and welcome back to the GGBet Chicago Invitational. We've just seen our first game of Group B play out, and again, it was as expected. Hellraisers taking down Nordavin 16-8, and obviously moving forward to the best of 3 match later today. But we have to find their opponent, and it is going to be either Windigo or Forze.
Yeah, not too bad teams, so it's not going to be an easy task for Hellraisers regardless who makes it through here. But I think, both these teams have a lot of things going for them. Windigo just coming off of the back of a win in Portugal, and for Forze, definitely being the surprise of our Cologne Invitational that we saw last week. I don't think any of us had really... we knew they were a good team. We knew they would put up a fight. Maybe could, potentially beat the Hellraisers like they did, but potentially knocking out Liquid as well, that was more of a surprise to us. But they've played exceptionally well.
Yeah, these two teams have actually seen relative success this year, actually, in 2019. Forze have won Copenhagen Games. I think Windigo are in like the top 5 highest earning teams.
Yeah, won WSG and now Mosha as well. So actually, I wouldn't be surprised if, probably Liquid are ahead of them, but they might be number 2 already.
Yeah, they might just be up there. It's pretty crazy how much money they've actually made. But definitely two very interesting teams. And we get into the map Vito. It's going to be Forze immediately banning on Overpass. That's a map that Windigo are very comfortable on.
Yeah, I think actually just most of the maps seems pretty strong for Forze in this one. I just think they want to get rid of Overpass and Vertigo. And they've, at least gotten a train and Overpass away. So I'm assuming Vertigo is going to disappear later on. Inferno and Nuke being taken away by Windigo. Makes sense as well, considering it's fairly strong maps for Forze. Their Vertigo goes out the window. That leaves us with Mirage and Dust 2. And actually, Dust 2 being the, it's not an ideal pick for Windigo. This feels like a similar situation as to what we saw in the first matchup with Nordavin and Hellraisers. The fact that, sure, this might be a really, it's a solid map for Windigo, by all means. Win percentage-wise, it is their strongest one, but this is the map that we saw Forze beat Liquid on.
I think Forze have such a interesting map pool. I think, obviously, it seems as though both teams have just gone for their
strongest, but because I guess from Windigo's side, they're not as confident in their Dust 2, and the very few games that Forze has played, because Dust 2 is one of the games or maps that they haven't played as much. They do boast a pretty impressive win rate on it. So maybe that's what Windigo is thinking. Maybe they just want to go to something that they feel secure about, which is fair enough. But this is not going to be an easy matchup in that sense. I don't think you could say that anyone won the veto in that sense. But I guess that makes sense considering it's the best of 1.
Yeah, I think both teams have a lot of great individuals on the team. So I think that they could definitely be a close affair between these two. I think it's a lot less clear-cut in terms of who we expect to win. I think, in our opening matchup, we kind of all knew that Hellraisers were going to end up beating Nordavin. But this one, I don't know how to call it. I think, obviously, you'd say Windigo are probably a team that you would have to say are the better team. But even online, they look sometimes very shaky.
That is the big question mark, right? Because Windigo, yes, on paper should be your favorites. They're the ones highest up in the world rankings. Again, as you've mentioned, they've won tournaments, international tournaments so far this year. WSG, Mosha last week. And for Forze, what they've done on LAN has predominantly been in the CIS region. Outside of that, they won Copenhagen Games, which again isn't exactly boasting the top tier team. It's more of like a springboard for players to showcase themselves, for teams to actually be put on the map more so than anything else. But yeah, as you said, Windigo online, bit hit and miss. I think they rely very heavily on what kind of output they can get from Poison and Chips. And if those two are firing off on all cylinders, they can beat almost anyone on any given day. They're that good of a player, or they're that good of a duo. But on the side of Forze, they've just been seeming to find this stride where all 5 really on their side are doing phenomenally well for themselves, especially Z-Power. So I think that duel in itself between him and Poison is going to be super crucial.
Yeah, Z-Power, generally we don't find him at the top of the scoreboard, but he's usually around the middle. But the amount of impact he has is the important part. The amount of opening kills he can source for his team, and the conversion rate off of getting that opening pick is quite high. So he's definitely one of the more impactful players here in Forze.
Yeah, and that's going to make it a really explosive game, I'm pretty sure. Mirage as well leads itself to a lot of individuality, so it's going to be fun to watch. I think it's going to be rather quick-paced. We've seen Forze being rather crazy, not necessarily the most, methodical and defensive team. So that does bode well, I guess, in terms of entertainment value.
Yeah, their playstyle is extremely difficult to deal with for a lot of teams. And I think, when they go up against teams like Liquid, where they're not used to playing against the likes of Forze, that's when they can start to cause a couple of problems for them, because they just don't know what's happened to them. Z-Par's just walking down mid on Inferno. He's taking every fight. You've got Amazer bopping at your heads and everything. You've just got so many players in the team that can step up, which is something a lot of teams struggle with around that level.
Absolutely. And one of the players that we haven't brought up on the side of Forze yet that we talked a fair bit about actually during the Cologne qualifier was Jerry. He didn't have necessarily the best tournament around. going to be looking for him to turn things around. He is the in-game leader of the squad as well, so obviously has a lot of pressure on his shoulders to really carry them through, not just from an individual point of view, but also in terms of what kind of game plan they have and what kind of adaptations they have to make as the game progresses. So looking for a bit of a better performance out of him, and I think that's going to be needed. Windigo, again, if they have, I guess, a pretty standard performance for most other players, that could be enough to take them over the edge.
Yeah, I think obviously we kind of talk about Windigo being a hit and miss team online. I think the two players you brought up, Poison and Ships, can sometimes be a bit hit and miss as well. I think Poison's probably more one of the consistent players. Ships can have like these awful games where he's at the bottom of the scoreboard, and then have these games where he's at the top and he's just nuclear.
Yeah, exactly. He can go from, I mean, during WESG, right? He was by far the best player, at the tournament. He was just going lights out at every opportunity. I think he had a crazy 40 bomb, an overpass. I think it was against MIBR. It might have been something that did that effect. But he has an insane skill ceiling, but his floor is also pretty far down, which is the bit of an issue, and that's normal for newer players. But if Windigo are going to be a consistent top 15 team, trying to vie for, maybe top 10, that kind of a thing, they need to find consistency between these players.
We'll take a look at Mirage. I think this is going to be a map where pretty much both teams can have their individuals firing. I think it's a map, obviously, a lot of people look to for many of the individuals to really be the factor that carries them forward.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So, and I think just on average, I think Forze has... pound for pound on their 5, a little bit of an edge in terms of individual skill, which sounds weird to me, but I do think the top level of the Windigo players is higher. So I think that's where you're going to see the difference, whether or not Windigo players are actually being able to find their stride once we get into the game.
So when we have to sort of take it to crunch time, which team do you think is going to be able to take this one?
Oh, just off a recent form, I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of Forze. They've played such a good invitational for the Cologne spot. I think there was a very realistic chance for them to potentially knock out Liquid. Obviously, they had a really rough end to how that tournament ended. So, off of what we've seen, I think I'm going to have to side with them for this best of one.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you. I think just Windigo sometimes just being unpredictable online is definitely going to be the factor that kind of swings me in favor of Forze. I've seen a lot of them playing similar tournaments online against each other as well, and I think Forze has had their number quite a few times, which is quite interesting to see.
Absolutely. So we're going to get into it. Forze winning the knife. They're going to opt to start on that CT side as well. So we've kind of laid out the overview, who you need to pay attention to. Poison and Ships, definitely two of the most focal players on the side of Windigo. On Forze, Z-Power, Almazur might be the two rivals. And there we go, Ships off to a good start.
Certainly a good kill to pick up early. Jerry, he does hit the deck, and so Windigo are looking for a reply as well, because Flit has got one, Almazur with 2 for the side, and Facecrack coming in huge as well. So things are starting to not look so great here for Forze. Have to find those 2 picks on the A bomb site. So Bubble and Victor, they might have just pulled it back, especially Victor with those 3 kills, and so Flit has to make his way through CT, looking for the tapping headshot towards ramp. Yeah, he's got a kit, so he's got time to play with. He starts to look around the bomb site. He's looking for some sort of opening, some sort of chance, but I think Victor's actually just spotted him, so Flit, he has to run back towards the bomb site. Oh, what a shot!
All right, then.
All right, then. Victor's got Whiplash.
Oh, he's got a defuse kit as well. Bubble. Oh, barely saving it for Windigo. That was a couple of milliseconds away from Forze stealing that back. The Bulgarians get off to a good start. It was looking like it was going to be a whole lot easier than what it ended up being, as you see the odds here from GG.bet. Forze 2.07. Windigo favored after winning that pistol 1.69. And odds of them taking the map. Well, we'll see if there's going to be some shenanigans on the side of Forze. They've actually not decided to invest a whole lot into this, so you'd expect Windigo to deal with this Antica rather decently. Also a bit of a stack over towards that B bomb site. It's not going to make the task any easier.
Well, Poison. It's not a bad kill to get early again. It's on Jerry. Blocker coming in with the AK-47. As Almazur, Flit, and Z-Power left alone with absolutely no chance. So Windigo, again, I think obviously we've seen sometimes when they win a pistol and the team ends up fighting back, that can always be a problem, but Windigo deal with that one well.
Yeah. Definitely so. Blocker just kind of bypassing Jerry initially. Just a little bit surprised to see that anyone died behind him. But survives the scare, and it seems like Windigo are not necessarily interested in getting aggressive for this, just setting up for potential exit frags. See if they can sneak away with a rifle, because Windigo have gone pretty heavy in on rifles so far. Outside of ships, it doesn't have any weapon right now. Immediate Krieg on bubble. Nobody's going to die as a result. So there we have it. Safe and sound. Round number 2 for Windigo as they repurchase. We'll see if what Ships has in mind. I mean, he still hasn't bought. And keep in mind, it's Poison who is the dedicated operator. There we go. Iki comes in for Ships. Also purchase on the side of Forze. Z-Power finally has that op in hand. It's a complete glass cannon, though, so he's going to have to be a little bit weary of what kind of angles he takes. Needs to pay attention to utility as well. And 2 AUGs out on the side, and also an M4 on Jerry. So spread your weaponry on the side of Force. We're going to keep an eye on that, seeing how many people still go back to that AUG, even after the nerf. Definitely seen more of a swing back towards the old M4.
Yeah, I think we're going to see it like picked up a 1 player on our last match there. So definitely starting to see it drop off. And here come Windigo with their execute in. The smokes drop, the flashbangs are there at Z-Power with the opening kill here for Forze. Looking for another one as well, and there we go. Bubble. He will get 1 kill back for Windigo, but he's going to need a little bit more, and Jerry will prevent him from doing so. And so Victor solo, finished off by Jerry. It's all on Ships to try and make it happen. 1v4, and he pulls a nade. So Jerry takes him away. Good round from him, and Forze will get their first on the board. Oh,
a little bit of a mess up there, so they want to change weapons around. Jerry's actually going to be nice enough to donate away the AK picked up and go back to the M4S. Pretty solid job from Force there, not having any issues really with the defense. Z-Power finding 2. And Jerry leading by example here with 3 frags. Solid positioning as well, being able to deal with the Molotov as well. Eventually finding a 3rd.
I think that was the first round where Jerry actually didn't die immediately. So yeah, the first chance he's actually had at doing anything, and he shows a lot of impact. So good sign moving forward.
Well, it's not going to be an op out on Poison immediately. He's actually going to opt with a Krieg and nearly full utility. Let's see what Windigo can do with this. Basically scraping the bottom of the barrel with this kind of a purchase. So need to find something for this at least. Hopefully a bomb plant if they're not going to win the round. Bomb plant and significant damage on the CT side. Mid control is going to be gained. There's a player on catwalk. Z-Power not actually going to spot him out. Smoke just not doing him any favors, and Ships is going to find 2 there. It's a favorable trade for Windigo. Doesn't last for long, though.
Well, this break of it in Fierce Crack is pretty solid. Ships looks back up towards the wood. The kill comes in on a Fierce Crack, and Jerry, exact same position and the exact same result. 3 kills for him in this one, 2-2. And much better from Forze. I think as soon as they got the rifles into their hands, they've just looked very, very solid.
Yep. Jerry specifically, and again, he's going to donate away an AK. Not a selfish man. Goes back to that silenced M4, and to be fair, I mean, it's netted him 6 kills so far. So you can't argue with the results either. Playing that A-bomb side solidly, being able to win out his duels.
Yeah, we're kind of talking about the A1S not being one of the weapons a lot of players go towards, but Jerry's certainly wielding it to success.
Bit of a unique one. Z-Power late to the mid-peak, but still comes out of it. Obviously, no weaponry on the side of Windigo really to speak of. Deagle on Ships and a P250 on Victor, but that's all they have to work with.
A couple of missed shots there from Z-Power, but eventually Forze wanting to end this one. It will eventually connect. There's the kill from Z-Power. And these Glocks should topple pretty quickly. Almazra boosted up, has the teammate Flick going close towards middle.
Flick's having a bit of a rough time adjusting, but eventually finds his blocker. Almazra having a bit of an easier time, but he's going to get downed by Ships as well. But only sustaining 1 loss for that round. You can absolutely deal with it if you're Force. Now, though, it's going to be a bit of a tougher challenge, assuming that we're going to see Windigo buy out. They don't have enough money for an op on Poison, unless they wanted to drop it and have Ships potentially go for a glass cannon. Instead, they're going to opt full rifles and some utility. Not a whole lot of Molotovs there, but they do have the smokes and flashes needed to set up for a potential execute.
It's quite interesting because a lot of teams who have got a star Opera as their sort of star player generally just want to get that Op into his hands as much as possible. But with Poison, he's gone for the SG and he's gone for the AK.
Yeah, usually, I mean, you can't really fault teams for doing that as well. We saw it Hellraisers, right? Banking everything off of an Oscar Op, he saves them with an ace. That's the kind of thing you can expect out of Operas.
Yeah. So it's an interesting approach brought by Windigo. Poison obviously still proficient on the rifles. And Victor's going to hop through the window. Kill comes in. Elmir able to trade back. And another one coming through as well. Bubble eventually will get one through. But Z-Power there with the AWP to keep the advantage alive for Forze. Oh, another one connected by Z-Power as well. Poison is finished off and Ships. He's left in a very, very sticky predicament at this point. He will be followed by Fistcrack. He comes in from behind. 4 in a row here for Forze.
Yeah, just looking really solid on their CT side here. We saw it versus Liquid as well last week. It's not like Force are slouches on this map by any means. Know how to play it, and it's one of their most played maps just in general. So, a lot of traction. I think the only loss they've had in quite some time actually on this map is versus the mixed team Cats.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
And that was when Simple was playing for them.
Oh,
and
yes,
dropped
but
like
he dominated
80. Yeah, he dropped like 80. I think he dropped actually
56
50
kills
frags.
in one map.
Yeah, and that was on Mirage. And they lost that in double overtime. So
56 in one map. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, but, you know, Simple's not on the server, so Force definitely within this.
It's like, yeah, hey, guys, we need a stand-in. Oh, yeah, this is going to be an easy game. Who's the stand-in? Simple.
It's like,
Rip.
And I mean, the positive thing for Force right now is the fact that versus Liquid, they managed to scrape 10 rounds on their T side.
Yeah.
Together already. They're doing a really good job on their CT side to get into the swing of things. Z-Power tries his best with the pistol. Not going to pan out too well, but they're going to be able to retrieve it. So 2 men go down. But again, most important weapon kept alive for Force, so that's a 5th round for them. And finally, we're going to see Poison get that Op in his hands. See if there's going to be a stop to Z-Power. He's had a hot start so far, him and Jerry.
Yeah, definitely good signs moving forward. And I think that's always something with Forze is you kind of get the early signs of which players are going to play well on a certain map, and then they just play well for the rest of the map.
That's very accurate. And well, there's a pause coming in here. What you guys at home can do is head over to csgo.net and use code Chicago to get 30% more of your balance and potentially win some cool skins while you're at it. Let's see if this pause is going to break the momentum of Force. Give Windigo a much needed breather, I suppose, to rack their head. One thing that was obviously a bit of an issue that plagued Force in the last Invitational was technical snafus. We saw Fistcrack having a bit of an issue. We saw Almazer obviously having the most untimely of timeouts.
Yes, it had to happen in the most important run.
Yeah. So hopefully, you know, this pause is not an indication of that continuing. You'd hope so that they can actually just play out their game as they as they want to, because they've been showing so much promise that you'd love to see them actually getting a reward for it. Or actually, if they're gonna fail and drop short, so we see the updated odds here from GG.bet. Force being favored 1.39 to Windigo's 2.83. I mean, if you're gonna fall short, at least do it on your own accord, right? You don't want any sort of
because you have
act of God happening, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, exactly.
You have sort of external things to blame instead of realizing in yourself, oh well, we weren't good enough to win, and that's probably more frustrating.
Yeah, Jerry just wanting to continue that hot streak. He finds an opening, but Chips is going to be able to deal with it. So Windigo finally get a minute advantage for the first time in quite some time.
Well, Windigo will be able to turn this one into a round win, though. Generally, we kind of talk about the success of teams once they find the opening pick, how often they can turn it into a round win.
They've actually given up both bomb sites for the time being. And this is what you talked about with the playstyle being
different.
Different, yes. Unorthodox, not really conventional by any means. Really focusing down on this middle area for the time being. It's going to work out as well. Nets them a kill. Z-Power equalizes. That puts them at an HP advantage at the very least. And, well, with Fistcrack so far up in top mid, he might hear the rotations coming in here.
Ooh, and actually gets the kill onto Ships as well. So things are falling apart for Windigo. They're going to try and turn this one around. And because, you know, they haven't really got any info, any map control, it's pretty difficult for them to get this done, I'm afraid. And Fistcrack's just holding top mid. Also has to help with Z-Power still in connector. He's playing on the other end of the smoke. Victor, he's on this other side. Still not really forcing a fight, so Flit will just sit back towards CT. Grenade goes in and does damage on the bubble. He's been dropped to 22, and the fight eventually comes through in mid. It's Facecrack picking up the kill on the Victor. It's a 2-man advantage on the CT side, looking so solid here for Forze. They might just get it done. 10 seconds, not enough time really to play for it, and that is it. 2 kills come in from Flit, and 6 in a row for Forze.
They're really doing their part there on the side of Forze. Everybody's stepping up right now, not only Jerry and Z-Power. Flit with a solid double kill there, and Windigo just really struggling to find anything and get going on their T side.
Yeah, well, you guys can head over to csgo.net. Very easy to remember. Just add CSGO and a .net to the end of it, and you can get yourself a 30% more on your balance, and also a chance to win some cool new skins like Z-Power, who's got himself the Orb Asimov up inside of the window. It'll be Windigo, only on a Mach 10. Deagles across the board. Victor's going to take some early damage. He's been dropped to 82. Not really too much to write home about, though. And at this point, I think Forze will be feeling very confident about their CTFR. It certainly looked amazing for them at the start of this. And they just have to keep it up. Here comes the push. Flit, he'll get rid of Victor. He might just get another one as well. And if not, then he's also got Almeza that can assist with the AUG. It's a kill coming in from Blocker eventually, but again, the rest of his troops falling, and leaves Ships on his own inside the middle with the Deagle to try and make a 1v4 happen. And there's the first, so that's the first step in a very long walk back into this one. And Ships, he'll be stopped by Jerry. So 7-2. Forze have just looked on another level since the first gun round.
Doesn't seem like they've dropped at all since last week here.
Yeah.
On a bit of a tear. And might feel like they should have had a spot at Cologne. It would have been quite fun to see, but if they can make up for it by finding a spot in Chicago, I think they'll be okay with that too.
Yeah.
7-2, and right now, yeah, it's not looking like much of a contest, really.
I also don't feel like the community backlash would be severe if they made it to out of Chicago. Everybody wanted Liquid to be there at Cologne.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think they have 7 out of the top 8 teams in the world right there. And that's partly because G2 did so well at Pro League, so they jumped up to the
so they even had more, right?
Exactly. They had everything going for them. Speaking of having things going for you, Forze finding 2 kills. It does get traded back, though. Victor pulling back the years a little bit there, and Bubble's going to chime in as well. Everything down to Almazar. HP is low on a Victor, so there's an opportunity to make it into 2v1. That's one way of doing it as well. Through the murder hole we go.
Well, Poison, he spotted him crossover, and he's just going to hold the angle. Goes aggressive, there's the kill, and Windigo, finally another run on the board, and I think that's all off the back of Victor there.
Yeah.
Really making a difference from Palace.
It really did. Finding a double kill as he strafes out. Opens up the A bomb site, creates some chaos. Finally in the ranks of Force there. Their defense up to this point has been so solid, so stable. Couldn't really see where Windigo are going to find an opening, but Victor doing it all. And people, I guess, who might be newer to Counter-Strike might forget that Victor was pretty much together with Dreamer, the two like heavy hitters in these old G-Play lineups and everything that you had on the side of Bulgarians.
Yeah, I think every team that's kind of made around Bulgaria, it's just Victor's been on all of them.
Yeah, Nate was for the longest time, just without a question, the best Bulgarian player. Hasn't really, I guess, continued that trend in the sense that, you know, he hadn't had the continued rise in skill level. Still, obviously, very, very good player, but he's not the star of the team anymore. He's not the focal point of it. So, but still able to deliver rounds like that to get you over the edge.
Brings the experience as well to some of the younger players that can absolutely rub off.
I mean, he's gotten some pretty good backup in the likes of Ships and Poison.
This is quite a different approach from Forze. So they, a few rounds ago, they put so much pressure in middle, and this one they just don't even put a single player there. So Windigo take that for free, but it did take some damage.
It was free for a while, and then a nade and some tag damage came in from Jerry. All of a sudden, Ships is almost put out of commission. But it's true. They have gotten a lot of real estate. 2 players posted up in connector here. We'll see what they're going to be able to do off of that. Facecrack dodges the nade after getting tagged up a little bit. We haven't seen too much of a rotation, actually. They're falling more passively here. They might actually just let Windigo take the bomb site, more or less. Facecrack plays defensively here. Jerry can play back. basically wait things out, but he's going to drop down into Shadow and onto the side. So they want to fight for this.
Yeah, if Fizzcrack stayed in Palace, he was almost going to be a sacrifice to the team. They knew he was there. They had an inkling at least. And here comes the push in from Windigo. 3 players coming in through the ramp barrier. It will be flipped with the early pick on the blocker. Fizzcrack takes away one as well. Looks back towards Connector, and this is just perfect from Forze. All the kills coming in. It's Poison having to pull off the clutch, and oh god,
Fizzcrack really wanted that gun.
It's like, I'm just going to take the gun real quick.
Just don't mind me. I'll be back to deal with you later, and so he does.
He already win the half.
And the repositioning worked out splendidly. You could see the Molotov coming in to block him out from potentially being a part of that A-side defense. And Force's decision to fight for it really, really works out.
So unfortunate when you're a team and you win one round and then just lose the one straight after that, because it stops any possible momentum you might have.
Yeah, feels really bad not being able to string anything together. That's kind of been the name of the game. Force definitely making themselves earn it.
Well, this could be a big play from Z-Power. Jerry's got the first kill. Z-Power steps in and Fizzcrack able to assist with 2. It's all on ships. Done damage, but missed shots from Z-Power. I think that one went through the legs.
Yeah. Well, still tough situation to find yourself in if you're ships.
Well, tough situations. Nearly manages to make it close, but he will fall in the end, and that will be 9-3. Forze. This could be a very one-sided half.
It's looking like it, and even though Windigo are able to do damage to the Force lineup every now and again, they've kept the right players alive at the right time to this point where they have decent enough money to rebuy if Windigo were to get around back here. That only works if there's an op.
Yeah, if there's anything else, you're dead.
Let me see, though, what Windigo can actually put forward here. They have a Hero AK on ships, 4 Deagles. I try to run boost into mid eventually. Just want to wait it out, see if there's any early aggression, if there's some nades being thrown towards top mid. Very likely looking like Force is going to make it to double digits. Timing, though, doesn't favor Z-Power. On scopes, just at the wrong moment.
Well, Ships has the Hero AK, and he's in behind them in jungle, so Ships wants the call here. Do you want to try and cut off the rotations towards B, get close up towards Kitchen, or just wrap around the back of CT? This could be a massive play for Windigo. If Ships is able to collect himself a few kills, there certainly is a chance for Windigo to make this happen. The bomb is coming back over towards A. Z-Power has dropped back inside of CT, and he gets the kill. Oh no, Ships goes for the frag and ends up getting dropped by Z-Power. Jerry and Fizzcrack, it's all over here for Windigo. So unfortunate. And Victor will end up getting 1, but Z-Power puts an end to him as well. And Ships sneaks all the way through CT, about to take the kill on the ticket box player, literally about to pull the trigger, and then Z-Power just drops him.
You hate to see it. That is really, really unfortunate. And all Force, they do make it to 10. And, well, I guess confirmed one-sided half.
Yeah, I think as soon as you hit double figures, that's when it really hits that point where it's considered one-sided, right?
Yeah.
Anything more than that is just a blowout.
Yeah, it's also about the fashion that they've done it in as well, right?
Yeah.
Ever since they got weapons, it's been more or less a stomping, and well, I mean, we're getting more out of it. Windigo, very hopefully, just streaming into mid, failing the B flash as well. And Monster will get burned out. He's not actually going to move. Yeah, he went for the 50-50, hoping that somebody's going to go out on balcony. It doesn't pan out. And now, with 2 frags back, it's a bit more of a round, but so much low HP though. 27 points of health on Poison, 1 on ships, and Z-Power. If he gets the right angle, he might spot a gun barrel here.
Oh!
Here we go.
Poison just not patient enough, and Z-Power will capitalize. The kill comes through. Blocker. Ships only on 1 HP, but the kill still comes through from Ships. Blocker finished off. 1 bullet is all that's needed. Molotov could do it as well, as Fizzcrack throws it onto the bomb site, taps the bomb, just 1 bullet. There it is! And the defuse coming through. Forze make it happen. And when things are looking good for Windigo, they just get flipped on their head. 11-3. This is absolutely unbelievable. When I came into this, again, I was just kind of expecting a closer affair. I'd say these two teams pretty evenly matched. You know, Forze have had recent success. Windigo have looked good, just winning Mosh. And nope, it's not looked anything like Windigo, and this is kind of that hit or miss we were talking about being online. You know, they have these performances sometimes where just don't look like a great team.
Yeah, that is very true. We're getting the, I guess, the flat version of Windigo for this one. But I do also think it's partly because of what we're seeing out of Forze. They're playing really, really well, not just as a team, but individuals stepping up here. Z-Power, obviously, being one of those names. 15 kills to his name. Look at this. This is a man with confidence. Facecrack having pushed all the way down into a pit. Still going to get found out by Victor, though. Oh, Z-Power just not reacting in time to deal with Blocker. So, significant opening being created for Windigo here.
Yeah, this could end up being 11-4, and that's the scoreline. You know, it's still difficult, but you can come back from it with a pistol win and a conversion, but Flit has dropped Bubble. So it's still Forze looking to try and get themselves 12. Oh, no. Oh, God, Ships, no. Oh, there we go.
Ooh.
Oh, that's so awkward. You know, you fire enough bullets, you think you've got it, and then you pull away. Oh, God, and Jerry's just been killed by his teammate. This round is just chaotic.
Yeah, and how is Ships always ending up on 1 HP?
Yeah, this guy is definitely being saved by something.
He's got some higher powers looking out for him. Windigo might need that. They definitely need the 4th round here, as Poison's going to be able to close that out. And finally getting a 4th round on the board. It's labored, though, from Windigo. They do survive a couple of scares there, especially Ships in mid on the catwalk railings.
If you take a look, though, Victor is the man that's got all 4 MVPs for Windigo.
Gotten the right kills at the right time. I mean, we saw that obviously with the dropout from apps and so on. But I guess the MVP stars don't necessarily give you exactly. It does skew the numbers a little bit, but
yeah,
doesn't really matter. Like, you can be MVP all you want if you're getting 4 rounds on your first half, something's gone horribly wrong. So you're, I guess, the MVP of a sinking ship. That doesn't really get you far.
Yeah, well, if they are to turn things around, Ships has got to get sailing alongside Poison. He's only got 5 kills in this first half. He definitely needs to turn that one around, and this could be his chance. Towards Connectors, they start to come in towards him. Grit first headshot, looking for another, but Ships will chime in. Jerry in behind, so awkward. Eventually will pick up the kill. Z-Power there with 1-1. It's back into a 3v3 as Ships doing his best work from CT under a lot of pressure as the bomb plant's coming through. He's just desperately looking for at least 1 kill, but it's not granted.
Oh, and they got the catwalk control as well. He's actually going to give it up. Yeah. Z-Power jumps into windows, even with an open bomb plant. Going to try to change things up. And Jerry, well, we wanted to see more out of him than what we got in the Cologne Invitational. And he started off really hot in this one.
Yeah, certainly clean taps there. But Victor, it's time to earn another MVP. You've got only a few seconds, so not going to happen. Z-Power will take him away. 12-4.
17-6. This is pretty fun to watch. Like, with Z-Power, when he has these kind of pop-off games, he just rarely dies. And it's not off the back of being passive. It doesn't save a lot. He goes in, but he's just so successful.
Yeah, and look at those ults. Like, they were super close at the start of this, but
yeah, not anymore.
Literally one for Forze. So
yeah, it's not quite the return you're looking for, is it?
Well, those ults are brought to you by GG.bet. They're not looking great for Windigo.
A little bit disappointing to see Windigo didn't have elite odds.
Yeah.
So close, but yet so far away. Just 0.3 away. Well, there you have it. And yeah, it is feeling pretty accurate, though. Windigo haven't had a lot to write home about from this game. Been trounced from more or less beginning to end so far. Force just, once they got weapons in their hand, it was just, felt like it was game over.
Yeah, we've seen Windigo at the start. They win the pistol, win the follow-up, and then
that was it.
That's it.
Yeah, that is pretty much 50% of all their rounds. Force just being the dominant team so far. And you can tell it wasn't necessarily a fluke that Force were able to beat out Liquid on this map. Well, you know what they're doing, but it's going to be Blocker to find the opening. Victor is going to follow that up as well. So solid crossfires going on here. Fate setups and whatnot from Windigo, but there is answers to be found here behind Firebox. Jerry just making sure Poison's really, really dead. Gets an extra 10 bullets into the box. Now, they know that there's a scout. They've heard shots popping off from ships. They might just decide to back off. As you can see, Z-Power, he is thinking twice about it. Jerry just making sure he has an idea of what's going on. Gets confirmation that there's still at least one player over towards stairs. I think that's going to pretty much he's going to work as a bit of a decoy while Z-Power does whatever he wants to do. Decides on potentially changing things up, but he's going to swap back, and it's actually just gotten Bubble over towards that B bomb side. He thinks it's going to be a rotation.
Forze is just trying to recover from this.
The
time is so low that Ships might actually just be able to pull it off. Jerry's just charging through CT, knows where Ships is, and I think that's one of the ways to do it.
That's how you deal with it, making sure there's not going to be a denial of a bomb plant. And Bubble, well, you're in a bit of a rough spot. Jerry continues his good form.
I don't know what that is for Jerry. He just sprints through CT, starts shooting randomly, and just hopes that Ship gives away his position.
Man, it works.
Perfectly.
Next level mind games from Jerry. And if you guys want to do something next level, I suppose, you can head over to csgo.net. Use the code Chicago. That's CHICAGO. And you can get 30% more balance on your deposit and also win some cool skins while you're at it. At least have a chance to do so.
So 2 sets of Kevlar for Windigo into this one.
Well, hoping for something big from the Deagles. Potentially picking up a weapon. Face crack.
This smoke will fade eventually.
Yeah,
I think
Ships is on borrowed time.
As well.
Finds the right timing to find face crack, but well, the failsafe is in order for Forze. They've got Flit right behind him.
Oh, Victor's actually pushed all the way through spawn, but Israel is waiting for this. He should find one, but does he expect the second player to be there? He does. And he can't win the fight, though. It'll have to be Jerry that picks it up.
The backup, right?
Yeah.
Tag team Counter-Strike on the side of Forze. Bubbles tucked himself into a corner, but
he's burst.
It's not going to be enough. Yeah, Flit finds him. Well, Bubble has burst for sure. Poison, though, left alone. Not one of the players invested into like Kevlar, and I think he's been spotted out as well. Jerry finds his 21st frag.
How many multi-kills has Jerry had? It's been incredible.
It feels like it's all been multi-kills.
Yeah,
right?
every round he's had, it's just been like either 3 or 2 or even 4. It's like crazy stuff.
It's been pretty well. He's got five rounds so far. Actually, no, this would be the 6th round. So 6th round so far with a multi-kill. That ties Z-Power for most in the game. So doing pretty well for themselves.
Yeah, if you have 2 players going off at that level, it's definitely a recipe for success. And Windigo are going to try and get rid of that. They have got themselves a double op setup. Perhaps this is something they can throw into the mix that can make it happen. But again, Poison has just been eliminated early. Z-Power just has dominated the op battles across the map.
It really has, and Poison, you said it, inconsistent star player is it's going to be difficult to deal with, and Poison does have that high skill ceiling that it can pop off in a similar fashion as to what we're seeing from Z-Power right now, but it's been all about the Russian Opper.
And well, Forze only stand 2 away from taking this opening best of 1 here at the Chicago Invitational. To go on to that winners matchup to play against Hellraisers, and that's definitely going to be a very, very interesting matchup if that comes through.
Bit of a rematch as well.
Yeah.
Don't think we're going to see Nuke from Hellraisers this time, though. Here, Jerry continues the good form, but he's going to get taken down by Blocker. Ships tuning in as well with an off shot. Does not spot Flit, at least not early enough to land a shot. The Bubbles there. The experienced veteran on the side of the Bulgarians is going to be able to pick up an op as well, so double op setup coming into it. This could be the turning point, I suppose, for Windigo,
yeah,
right?
because the money's gone.
It really is. And while we didn't get to see too much out of the opping prowess from Poison, this might be the opportunity. 14 to 5. It's still quite a ways to go.
The thing is with Forze, though, they can always win on the back of pistols, which is something else they have in their back pocket. So
they have a lot of things going for them. Just
yeah, they really do,
don't they?
So this is definitely going to be easy if they decide to invest, and I don't think that would be the smart call here. I think you've got a little bit of a buffer.
Yeah, don't get too eager, right? Don't get too far ahead of yourself where you, well, basically
throw away.
Waste your bank. Yeah, exactly. Give Windigo basically the scent of blood to start feeling like they have a shot at this. Just want to close this out as quickly as possible, and they've gone with a pretty reasonable buy here. I think this is perfectly within reason.
Yeah, certainly. They leave enough money in the bank, but also invest enough to make it somewhat potent.
Yeah, all those are in Flit. Jerry, the ones with upgraded pistols. They could potentially do something here. Oh, I think he spotted his shoulder. Yep, that's Flit. Tagged down.
Well,
so
this could be a good chance for Poison to try and build up some confidence, you know.
Yeah, that's not going to do it, though. There you go. Finally corrects his wrong, and face crack goes down. Meanwhile, Blocker and Victor have found one for themselves. That's solidly done by Blocker. Flit seeing some action initially, getting, I guess, a shot to the shoulder through the wall. Hasn't really been able to do much since then. This is going to be a Windigo round. So 6 rounds on the board for them. They get to feel a little bit better about where things are going. Let's see if they can actually find one of the 2 ops. That could be a pretty good get. Obviously hard to get Windigo in a position where they're not going to be able to retrieve it. And it's not even going to be a reality. Blocker with the 3rd frag of his round.
So, could this be the step back into it from Windigo? Or will Forze just put a stop to it right here? They have got the buy back in. Z-Power on the AWP, the 8K is available for every other player, along with plenty of utility. So things are looking good for Forze's buy. Windigo, they'll be not complaining. Everything they could possibly want is available to them still, with a double up setup as well. And Poison has looked a little bit off here, so perhaps having that double up kind of gives them that insurance policy. And here goes Poison. Finally, he gets that opening pick, this time on the face crack. Yet no reply just yet from Forze. So Windigo will keep that advantage and actually follow up on it. So this double up setup definitely paying off for the Windigo side.
Definitely has worked out. Forze just kind of grinding to a halt here in mid, not moving anywhere forward. They still have a smoke on Jerry and Flit, so can section off certain parts of the map. See if they actually decide on what they want to do. It seems like they want to send Z-Power out for a bit of a solo mission here in B-Apps. See if he can find anything, potentially create a rotation. Instead, it's going to be ships to find even a bigger advantage for Windigo. Smoke goes down into top connector. Spam comes through and Jerry's down to 9 HP. So Victor, without even knowing it, pretty much sealing the deal here on Forze. It feels like they've been holding in the shift button for the last minute, and they haven't really gotten anywhere for it. Might actually just end up being the save call here. Not even want to throwing away the weapons. As you can see, Forze completely bankrupt as well. $100 on Jerry and Face Crack being the most. So this makes sense. Just keep it onto your weapons. See if you can have some heroics happening from either Jerry or Flit in the next one, while the 3 others have an eco. Let's see where that takes you. Windigo finally getting some clean rounds on the board. It's going to do a lot for their swelling economy. As you can see, Poison sitting at 7.3 at this stage, while he has an op in his hands, so he's going to feel pretty good about that. Now he just needs to find some connections with it. Ships, one of the 2 players we highlighted on the side of Windigo to potentially come up big for them. He's netted 18 kills. And, well, he's going to need to net a few more if they're going to get back to an even kill with Forze. 7 rounds to go to equalize it all.
I think something Forze have done very well throughout this game is just being able to stop Windigo from building any momentum. You know, if they get one run, they suffocate them in the next, and they stop them from getting a string. But this is probably the best chance for Windigo to actually get that string of runs that they need and start to build up their confidence across the board, because Forze, you know, the money's not excellent here, but they have gone for the investment, and there's still a risk here.
That is very true.
Well, the double op setup has definitely been a turnaround for Windigo. You know, we kind of talk about the op setup, the double op setup coming in when just nothing else is working. You kind of have to search for something.
Desperation move, right? They got it for free as well. They were able to pick that up from winning one of the rounds, and so it wasn't necessarily that big of an investment from their end either. And you can tell that it's a place where they'd like to go as well. But again, Blocker finding an opening. Forze are not really that mobile. I mean, sure, they don't have a full buy, but it seems like they've just been stopped completely. Jerry is going to find Bubble swinging out on Catwalk, though.
Well, a good reply from Poison as well, but the rest of the troops from Forze trying to come in through ramp. And Victor, he's got one, but traded back by Fist Crack. And Poison's still alive. Nice shot, but falls to Z-Power, who keeps moving forward. but that's all he'll get as it's 4 in a row for Windigo. Forze, again, it's going to be another weak buy, if even. And so this is going to be another Windigo run on paper. And that'll be 14-9. If they win the next one after that, double figures, and you really are in a draw. You're in a position where you can literally pull this back.
Yeah, especially with Poison starting to come alive there. Some solid shots for him to have some impact in the round. Could be getting into something nitty and gritty here towards the very end of it. Forze opting for a half buy. Makes sense. They've got the loss bonus as well to work with, so they're going to have a full buy into the next one, but they're not getting a whole lot of damage done onto the Windigo squad here, and that's kind of what you'd like to see. Even if they're not able to win rounds, at least you'd like them to see, them doing damage. So they're keeping Windigo honest, putting them in an awkward spot where they're not going to be able to rebuy fully once you finally get into your own buy round. So far, that's not the case. Poison down to 8 HP, though. So if he goes down, that could become pretty expensive for them.
Yeah, well, blocking does take away Almazir. Jerry able to walk in with a P250 with a kill, and so here's the chance to do some damage. Poison's only on 8 HP, so like 1 bullet would be enough to drop that. That's an all pre-buy. That'll definitely keep the economy somewhat modest.
It's the AUG picked up as well for Jerry here. And it is Poison around the corner, and he's only on 8 HP.
It's a battle of 1 bullet, so you need 1 each. Jerry has to be slightly less accurate.
Oh, Jerry knows.
He has an idea. This is going to be a pre-fight. Surely, there's the kill. Headshot doesn't even matter. There was only 1 bullet needed. He does take the kill, and he has the AWP. He's looking back in towards the A-bomb site, and he's got plenty of time. Unfortunately, cannot react quick enough, and Victor will take the kill. And that's 14-9.
That ended up costing Windigo a fair bit, actually. 3 players going down, and Poison losing that off when Victor not being close enough to retrieve it. As we see the updated odds, still heavily favoring Forze. Obviously, they're sitting 2 rounds away from taking Mirage. Windigo, they're inching closer at least. They were in the double figures in odds. Now they might be in double figures in rounds instead. Much more of a comfortable notion. Forze, so first proper buy in a little bit of time. What they do with it, they've opted out of map control just completely, so this just might be set up for a B rush right off the bat, regardless of what happens here.
Well, here goes the utility. This could be the type of play that is difficult to hold on to. Shipstar with the first kill. Flick completely dropped by that. And Ruby Bubble trying to spam on in as well. No pressure really here on Windigo just yet, but here goes Fiercecrack. That's a kill. Oh, Z-Power wins the fight against Ships as well, and this is starting to fall apart, starting to crumble for Windigo as Forze getting it done. This should be map points here on Mirage.
That went real bad, real fast. The Ships having the unfortunate timing, scoping away from balcony the second 2 Force players moves out. Yeah, this seems like it might be the best move for Windigo. Pick up that AWP. Bail out and see what you can do with it next round. It's taking so heavy losses in that previous one really just messed with their economy right now. And so quickly it can swing, and it also put Force onto match point. And that was an efficient one. Once they didn't get bogged down into mid, once they just kept the tempo relatively high, just finding success once more.
Yeah, that's something Forze can really just pull out of their back pocket, though. It's just that change in pace. It can be so brutal to deal with. I think Ships actually did initially a good job. The first kill comes in, the Molotov's there, so it's cut off the group of players.
Yeah.
He just, unfortunately, the timing just doesn't work for him.
You're not going to have it work out for you every single time, and right now it's looking a little bit rough for Windigo. Can't make a single mistake for the remainder of the game. And as you can see, the buy that's coming in is not going to be the greatest as well. Ships opting to go for an AWP instead of dropping for Bubbles. So he's going to have, well, actually limited to, actually they have been able to drop things around. Victor is going to be the one who gets the last rifle as well, sitting at 4.3k. So actually not a bad buy from Windigo after all. There's 2 saved weapons doing the trick. Now though, they need to find frags. Jerry topping the scoreboard. Good to see him having a standout game.
Yeah, certainly, especially because we bigged him up so much in the last Invitational, right?
Yeah, and he didn't quite live up to that.
He just made us look like idiots.
Luckily for them, I guess they did have Z-Power and Almazir playing exceptionally well throughout that tournament. So now it's just time for somebody else to carry the torch for Forze, and that's not necessarily a bad problem to have. Yeah. Ships misses out on the initial opportunity to find a frag that's split. He's just going to continue through the smoke. Just going to say thank you very much. But here comes the B execution.
Well, it's rinse and repeat. It worked last time, why won't it work again? And that's why, because Ships is here and he's got 2 kills. Not looking great this time for Forze. Another opportunity there from Ships. Does not quite connect his shot, although Poison has arrived and he will. So it's got to be on Almirza here to make a big, big play. Oh, he's crossing the smoke. This is kind of unfortunate. Oh my god, they have no idea each other are there.
Well then.
Ships has got another one though. It's all on Almirza. It's not going to happen for them, but that's very awkward. One tap comes in from Almirza.
Still has no idea that there's anyone on short.
Yeah, that might just cost him. Although they're just waiting for him to make the mistake to walk into their crosshair, and what? He turns around fast enough to get that headshot, but
well then.
Blocker will eliminate him very quickly after. 15-10.
15-10, still another buy, going to be able to come out from Force. And finally, no double ops for Windigo. Force might not be aware of it, but again, Windigo not being able to pick up that off from Ships over by Truck. Leaves them a little bit weaker on the defensive end.
This is a prime example of sort of the newer economy really helping the team that's actually losing quite a few runs, because, you know, Force go on a massive losing streak. They win 1, and then they lose again, but they still have a perfect buy.
Yeah, I mean, it's especially because it helps you so much more out on the T side than it does on the CT.
Yeah,
like
exactly,
that little extra income, etc. Like the max loss bonus, like sure, it's nice to have a CT, but you're not going to be able to get a pretty decent buy out of it because it's so much more expensive. And again, yeah, if the T side is just able to chip away at your economy at that time, then you might end up having better buys straight up. Windigo definitely leaning more towards the Augs than the other teams we've seen so far today, and yesterday actually. 3 to their name, and we'll see if that's gonna net them success or not. Flit again. He's been just going aggro in B-apps, not shooting a single bullet, just being chopped down to half HP and then leaving it at that.
Yeah, he's had enough. He's kind of had that sort of slap on the wrist. He's out of there. He's going to keep trying it, though. So I appreciate the efforts.
Eventually it'll work, surely.
Yeah, surely.
Right?
Like, Swords Law just kind of says so.
We'll see, though. Blocker's going to on a bit of a fact-finding mission. Ooh. Nearly has the drop on Flit, but instead it's going to be Flit to find the drop on Blocker as he darts to back out.
It's just as well he stayed alive, though. If he had fallen early, he wouldn't have been able to get that kill. So Forze have got the advantage to work with. And with the re-peek there from Poison, they'll realize no one's actually pushing through underpass, and they've decided to fall back a little bit. So with 45 seconds left, Forze are going to try and commit in towards the A bomb site.
Full rotations are actually coming in towards A now with Poison pushing up. The big thing for Windigo, though, they need to prevent a bomb plant from happening because they still have Flit hanging over towards that B-app, so he can be the swing from Catwalk to constantly mess up any sort of retake attempt from Windigo.
Well, Forze taking the time, methodically clearing the angles with the Molotovs, but it doesn't matter because Ships is there again with another kill. Victor stepping up tall. There's 2 kills. Can he get another? The answer is no, as Z-Power comes in with a kill, but Bubble, he's in behind. They have no idea. This could be the kill. There it is. No time as well. Oh, Z-Power turns around, and there's the kill from Poison. 5 seconds. This run is just mental.
Oh, and Poison manages to close it out. That got way too close. I have no idea how Windigo just doesn't end it right there.
I have no idea how Z-Power doesn't get, how he gets that kill.
Yeah, like, no, it should be possible.
The dude just 180'd him.
Well then, Windigo have to feel pretty shook about everything that's going on right now.
They should also feel pretty happy, though, considering this could be over long ago.
That is very true. I mean, they're still sticking into this, and they know that they have Forze on the ropes. No buy on the Russian side now. Double ops back in the hands of the Bulgarians.
Well, at least things have calmed down a little bit more. But we'll see if Ships can get this early pick as he looks down the barrel towards the B apartments. Multiple players about to come on through, and Ships is going to try and hold. Missed shot under pressure as they know exactly where he is. The flashbang is good as well, but he just keeps swinging wide. And because of that, Fierce Crack will pick up the kill. Flit in with one as well. And this can't be the way, surely, that it ends. And Fierce Crack, that missed shot might just come back to bite him. And what is happening? Jerry inside of the smoke with Poison. It's all on Bubble. The last man standing, and Forze get it done. 16-11 on Mirage. They just win off the back of pistols.
In the most unlikely way you could have imagined, Forze get it done. And, well, I mean, we said they had a lot to fall back on, you know, if things don't start to work out. And I guess we get to see that individual skill shining through on the side of Forze. Jerry having a great game. Z-Power just maintaining his solid form that we saw from last week into this one. I'm looking at this already pretty impressed with Forze, what they've been able to put up.
Yeah, exactly. I think coming into this is why I had to predict Forze to win it. I think they're just more consistent online. They've got so much skill. They've shown us what they're made of in sort of the Cologne Invitational. Yeah. And they definitely showed it, displayed it in the sort of first half and towards the second half as well.
Absolutely. It's not like Windigo's out of it, though, by any means. They still have a best of 3 before they potentially run out of the running for a spot at Chicago. And I did think we saw more, obviously, what they're capable of once we got into towards that second half. So slow start. Maybe they've shaken off the rust a little bit for now, so they'll be prepared once they get into their elimination game, but that's not for a little while. But, yeah, we have a best of 3 coming up.
Yeah, we do. We have the winners game coming up for Group B. It is going to be Forze taking on Hellraisers, a rematch like you said. So I'll look forward to getting into that one. I'll see if Forze can get it done against Hellraisers, since they are the underdog. Join us then.